español? English?
English, okay.
Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Y bienvenidos a todos a esta fantástica tarde en la Escuela Baronda Meadows. We're going to have a very exciting evening, and we're very proud. Look, we have a full house here. We're going to learn different skills or techniques on new information. So thank you to you, the community, for participating in this event. I would like to introduce to the star of the night, Dr. Gerald Newmark.
I think emotional health and the failure to meet the needs of our children is one of the most important subjects we could be thinking about and one of the most serious problems facing our nation.
Al hablar sobre la
One of the things that makes our challenge tough in Salinas is, the national average, give or take, for high school dropouts is 30%. In Salinas, it's 50%.
Failure to meet the emotional needs of our children not only threatens and jeopardizes their future, but that of our nation.
What we need to do as a community is really come together and erode the appeal of the gang lifestyle before point of first contact. And unfortunately, that can be grades 1, 2, and 3, where we really, I think, have to kind of create that protective shield around young people and get them off to the right start. That's the best investment we can make. And I think this book really speaks to that directly.
I wrote the book, How to Raise Emotionally Healthy Children, because I wanted to, first of all, raise public awareness about the problem. Because if we're not aware of it, there's nothing we can do about it. And I wanted to also provide a practical tool that parents and teachers could use to identify and satisfy children's emotional needs. And these are the 5 needs that I've identified. And once we know...
Y esas son las 5 necesidades que él ha identificado.
First need is the need to feel respected. And here I'm talking about something very basic, the need to feel that I am being treated in a civil, courteous, thoughtful, attentive manner.
Mucho gusto. Gracias. Rosa Alejandra.
And Marta.
Mucho gusto. Marta.
Okay. And Rosa is on her way to Fresno.
Merced County. Yeah.
Yep.
My husband and I, we were trying to get through some challenges in our own little family, and we kept thinking, is this working with a therapist? And so I got this little book, and I'll read it because I love to read. So I read, and I was kind of like Rose. It was a little book, and I thought, what's this going to teach me? And then it was like, wow. So I gave it to my husband, and he read it, and we're like, we just paid a lot of money, and we didn't get all this out of it.
My youngest is 20 years old, and I said, boy, if I had this book, we always talk about how we don't have the book, but this is the book. But I have a grandson, and as soon as I got my hot little hands on this book, I started implementing that with my grandson, and it's effective. So this is the book. And then Marta said, wait a minute, Rose, we need to talk, because wouldn't it be great if every baby that was born, every parent got this book?
When I would talk to Rose, and I'd meet somebody else that was struggling with their children. And so I would call up Rose, can I get a couple more books? Can I get a couple more books? And she did. She kept giving me books, and then I decided at that time I was beginning my preparation to become a Lamaze instructor and a childbirth educator. And so I just decided, as my gift to my students who finish the Lamaze program, I give this to them.
I work with couples and families and children, and I use this in everything. I mean, the best way to prevent child abuse is to support families, because most people want to do a wonderful job. I don't care how drug-addled they may be, or how depressed, or how much they drink. Truly, at the core, I think of everyone, they want to do a better job. I've never met anybody who didn't think they could do a better job or wanted to do a better job parenting. And this is a way to give that to them.
La verdad, yo encontré el libro en Guadalajara, Jalisco, donde yo nací. I am an instructional services coordinator, but one of the components is migrant parental involvement in the schools. How can we provide supplemental services to migrant children and to parents? So I believe that every parent should read this book, not only a migrant parent, but everybody.
What I love about it is it's not rocket scientist. It's not in this big highfalutin language that you have to break down. It's very basic, it's very easy, and if you do have parents that are literate, and we do have some in our district and in our county that we present to, visuals are great. We explain it. We have game plans that we work when we do hands-on, and you make it very interactive. And one thing people like to do is people like to know that when they're having problems with their kids, that they're not alone and they're not, by themselves. So it's the sharing and it's the ongoing support. So that's the beauty of it. But you've got to present it, and you've got to be really innovative in how you do it to certain populations.
Let me give you some examples. Here is a small boy on a tricycle zigzagging on a walk. Behind him is his father. He yells, "Stop zigzagging, go straight." The child turns around and looks at his father, doesn't say anything, but he has a question in his eyes, and then he turns back and he starts zigzagging again. And then the father comes up to him and says, "I told you not to zigzag. If I have to tell you again, you're going to be in trouble." I'd like you to take now 2 minutes, pair off with someone at your table, and discuss what do you think the parent learned, and what do you think the child learned, and what could the parent have done differently.
I run a lot of different programs, and we have an evaluator that's on staff. We've had the privilege of having them. If I run a program and there aren't any measurable outcomes, logically I'm not going to use it again. When we got Raising Emotionally Healthy Children and we developed the baseline data, and I said, "Come on, Peter, is this worthwhile? Should I continue to do it?" The anecdotal tells me I need to do it. So we did post testing, and out of that we determined that we were in fact making change and really building that communication between child and parents, and bringing back that parents are prevention and parents are the anti-drug, and this is one of the things that are the contributing factors.
Yes.
Usted, señora, pudiera.
Fue que el mensaje que captamos fue que yo visualicé al niño como un niño de 7 años.
The problem sets change, and life is very hard. But this book is about removing the barriers to a child's potential, and to basically all of our potentials.
Think about what happened there. Whenever I tell this story, it's amusing, but it's not amusing because this is the way children grow up. From the time they're very small, they hear, "Don't do that, stop doing that," at home, in school, without any explanations at all.
We have a potential of changing a whole generation. We have that potential.
So thank you for inviting me here to share that stuff with all of you. Thank you.